In the summer of 2025, Ford quietly buried a towing study that showed the F-150 Lightning averaging 81 miles of range while hauling a standard travel trailer. That is not a range anxiety problem. That is a product liability problem. The commercials show something different. The contract you sign reflects something different. Here is what the dealership was never going to tell you before you handed over $90,000. Chapter 1. The commercial is a lie. If you turned on a television between 2022 and 2025, you saw the same advertisement in 3 different versions. A gleaming electric truck, a mountain highway, a massive trailer rolling effortlessly through a sunset. Ford ran it, GM ran it, Rivian ran it. The implication in every version was identical. The electric transition is here, it works, and the only reason you are hesitating is that you have not caught up yet. That implication is false, and the engineers who built those trucks know it. The towing tests that the marketing department does not publish tell a different story. A 2024 Ford F-150 Lightning with the extended range battery, the one that costs $10,000 extra on top of an already $90,000 sticker, delivered 81 miles of real-world range while towing a 6,000-pound travel trailer in 70 degrees weather on flat terrain. In Montana in January, that number drops below 50. The commercial was filmed in June in California on a closed course without a payload with the battery preconditioned at the factory. That is not a real test. That is a brochure with a camera. Chapter 2. The energy math. They do not want you to run. Here is the number that ends the argument. 1 gallon of gasoline contains 33 kilowatt hours of potential energy. Diesel contains almost 38. That is dense, portable, refillable power that weighs less than 7 pounds per gallon. Now look at what Ford put in the Lightning's extended range pack. 131 kilowatt hours of battery. Do the math. That enormous battery, the one that weighs over 1,800 pounds, contains the energy equivalent of roughly 4 gallons of gasoline. 4 gallons. Imagine loading a 7,000-pound travel trailer onto your hitch and pointing your truck at Yellowstone from Denver with a 4-gallon gas tank. You would be stopping at every exit ramp. That is not a hypothetical. That is the physics of every electric truck currently on the American market. The moment you hook a trailer to the back, you stop moving like a truck and start moving like a city delivery vehicle that got confused about its job. The manufacturers engineered their way around this math in the commercials. They cannot engineer their way around it on Interstate 70 at 7,000 feet. Chapter 3. What actually happens when you tow. When a truck runs empty, aerodynamics barely matter. The profile is clean, the resistance is manageable, and the numbers on the window sticker are approximately honest. The moment you attach a trailer, you change the physics entirely. A standard travel trailer is, aerodynamically speaking, a brick moving through air at 65 miles per hour. The drag does not add to your energy consumption, it multiplies it. Independent testing by SAE International confirmed that towing at highway speed with a standard RV increases energy consumption by 30 to 50% above the unladen baseline. A diesel truck responds to that demand by burning more fuel from a 30-gallon tank that took 4 minutes to fill. An electric truck responds by dying faster than the dashboard told you it would. Real-world data from owners towing travel trailers between 5,000 and 8,000 pounds shows consistent range between 80 and 110 miles depending on elevation, temperature, and headwind. On a route like Interstate 90 through Wyoming, crosswinds, elevation changes, and summer heat work against the battery chemistry simultaneously, and documented owner reports show figures as low as 71 miles before the truck demanded a charge. That is not a trip to Yellowstone. That is a trip to the nearest exit. Chapter 4. The infrastructure trap. The range problem is bad, but here is what nobody in the industry is talking about openly. The charging infrastructure was designed for sedans, not for working trucks with trailers. Every major charging network in the United States, Tesla Supercharger, Electrify America, ChargePoint, builds nose-in stalls located in the back corners of parking lots. If you are towing a 30-foot fifth wheel, you cannot physically fit into the stall. You have 2 options. Option 1, block 4 charging spots by parking at an angle and wait for the confrontation. Option 2, unhitch your trailer in the parking lot, drive the truck into the stall, charge for 45 minutes at a direct current fast charger, then rehitch and continue. Repeat that process every 80 miles across the American West, and a 6-hour drive from Billings to Bozeman becomes an 11-hour event. We solved this problem 100 years ago with pull-through gas stations. The electric transition has taken American RV travel backwards by a century, and that is before you factor in what happens to the battery when the temperature drops. Chapter 5. Winter kills the numbers. Lithium-ion batteries operate within a narrow thermal comfort zone. At 70 degrees Fahrenheit, the chemistry performs close to its rated capacity. Below freezing, the electrochemical reaction slows down. The battery management system begins diverting power to heat the cells themselves just to keep them functional. That power comes from the same pack that was supposed to move the truck and the trailer. Analysis from battery testing firm Clearwatt found that the average electric vehicle loses 22% of its range in cold weather. High-demand towing configurations in sub-freezing conditions push that loss to 40 to 50%. For an F-150 Lightning towing a travel trailer in January in Minnesota, a completely standard use case for American RV owners, the real-world range sits between 45 and 60 miles before a charge is required. A diesel engine runs better in cold air. Dense air produces more combustion. Cold weather is a diesel's ally. For a lithium battery under towing load, cold weather is an active enemy, consuming your reserve just to survive. That asymmetry is not a software problem. It is chemistry. It does not get fixed in a firmware update. Chapter 6. The payload problem. Nobody prints on the sticker. The battery that gives the Lightning its range weighs approximately 1,800 pounds. A comparable diesel engine and a full fuel tank combined weigh around 900 pounds. That difference of 900 pounds does not disappear. It comes directly out of the truck's available payload. The Lightning's maximum payload rating sits at 2,235 pounds, already lower than a comparable diesel F-150, and that figure shrinks further the moment you add passengers, gear, a weight distribution hitch, and a loaded truck bed. Several Lightning owners towing fifth wheels have documented exceeding the gross vehicle weight rating before the trailer is even fully loaded. The truck is legally overloaded before you have packed your camp chairs. Ford engineered around this problem by rating the Lightning for trailer towing weights that sound impressive on the spec sheet, while the payload ceiling silently limits what you can actually put in the bed while towing. The number that matters is not the maximum tow rating. It is the combined weight of your trailer tongue weight, your passengers, your gear, and your hitch hardware. Run that math on a real camping trip with a real family and a real trailer, and a significant portion of Lightning buyers are operating outside their truck's legal load rating on every trip. The sticker does not warn you. The salesman does not mention it. The commercial does not exist that shows a battery warning and a red gross vehicle weight rating indicator lit up simultaneously. Chapter 7. The mandate behind the marketing. The manufacturers are not pushing electric trucks because the technology is ready for towing recreational vehicles. They are pushing electric trucks because federal zero-emission vehicle mandates and CAFE standards create financial penalties for selling diesel and gasoline vehicles above compliance thresholds. Every F-150 Lightning Ford they sell generates regulatory credits, which offset the F-150 Raptor and the Super Duty diesel that actually pay the bills. The Lightning is not a product. It is a compliance instrument disguised as a product. I spoke to a fleet manager in Denver who has been running both electric and diesel pickups side by side since 2023. He told me something worth repeating. The guys doing urban service runs 60 miles a day with light tools and no trailer, they like the electrics. Cheaper to operate, quieter, less maintenance on the drivetrain. No argument there. But the moment one of his teams needs to tow a generator to a mountain job site outside Vail in February or haul a fully loaded equipment trailer through the Rockies to a ranch in Wyoming, he sends a diesel. Every single time. Because he already had a driver stranded outside Frisco with 14% battery and the nearest DC fast charger 22 miles uphill. That is not an edge case. That is a Tuesday in the American West. Chapter 8. What is actually happening in the market? Here is what the market is saying in 2026, independent of what the commercials say. Ford cut Lightning production by 26% in 2025 after inventory piled up at dealerships for an average of 68 days, 3 times longer than comparable gasoline F-150s. GM paused Silverado EV production twice in 18 months, citing demand shortfalls. Rivian's stock has lost more than 85% of its value from its 2021 peak. The consumer who was going to adopt electric towing at scale has not shown up, and the data from KOA Campground Surveys and RV Industry Association reports consistently shows that diesel tow vehicles account for more than 78% of active RV tow vehicle registrations entering the 2026 camping season. Meanwhile, something else is happening that most people have not clocked yet. Clean used diesel trucks, 2018 to 2022 model year F-250 Super Duty diesels, Ram 2500 Cummins, and GMC Sierra 2500 Duramax units are holding their value at auction in ways the analysts did not predict. Several fleet operators are buying pre-owned diesel trucks right now specifically because they ran the same projection. That is, if federal mandates reduce diesel truck production over the next 4 years, the supply of used units does not grow. It shrinks. The ones already on the road become scarce. What is available today at a fair price becomes expensive by 2028. One fleet manager called it the Cuba effect. When they stop making the thing that works, the ones already out there become gold. Chapter 9. What actually works for RV towing right now? So does this mean you abandon the idea of towing altogether? No. It means you stop shopping for the mandate and start shopping for the work. The RV towing market in 2026 has 3 honest answers. The first is the Ram 2500 or 3500 with the 6.7-liter Cummins turbo diesel. It has been the benchmark for fifth wheel and gooseneck towing for 2 decades because the torque curve is matched to the load, the range is 500+ miles, and the infrastructure, meaning a diesel pump at every truck stop in America, is universal. No unhitching, no 45-minute wait, no thermal management failure at altitude. The second answer is any pre-2024 Ford F-250 or F-350 Super Duty with the 6.7-liter Power Stroke diesel. Find a well-maintained unit with under 120,000 miles, pay a certified diesel mechanic $400 to put it on a lift, and you are buying a truck the auction data confirms holds value better than anything that rolled off a production line with a battery pack in it. The third answer, if you genuinely need urban compliance alongside highway towing capacity, is the Ford F-150 Power Boost Hybrid. It does not replace a diesel for serious fifth wheel work, but for travel trailers under 8,000 pounds, it provides 500+ miles of combined range without the charging infrastructure dependency that makes the Lightning unworkable on a real RV route. These are tools. The electric alternatives are compliance instruments. That distinction is the calculation the dealership was hoping you would not make before you signed. The electric truck transition is not coming for RV towing in 2026. The math does not work, the infrastructure does not exist, and the market data is now unambiguous about what American RV owners are actually buying. The manufacturers know this. The mandate forces them to build the product anyway and count on the commercial to close the gap between what the truck can do and what you believe it can do before you sign. That gap is where $90,000 of your money disappears. The buyers who will not be stranded on Interstate 90 in August with a dead battery and a trailer they cannot move are not the ones who trusted the Super Bowl ad. They are the ones who ran the energy math, checked the real-world towing range, and understood that compliance instruments and work tools are 2 different products wearing the same badge. A diesel engine loves the cold, loves the load, and loves the long haul. A lithium battery tolerates those conditions until it does not. That is not an opinion. That is chemistry. If this investigation changed the calculation you were running before you walked into that dealership, subscribe to this channel. We publish 1 forensic audit per week into the financial traps, engineering failures, and mandate-driven deceptions that manufacturers prefer you discover only after you have already signed the contract. The American RV market is changing faster in 2026 than at any point in the last 30 years. The next investigation is already in progress. Do not make a 6-figure mistake before you watch it.